Welcome to Stray Stories. In this episode, we explore the little community in Chennai that has its roots dating back to the 17th century. A merchant community that has contributed actively to the foundations of the city. A community that has 7 players in India's first national rugby team. I'm your host Kiran Naig, and I travel with 2 Armenian boys from Georgetown to St. Thomas Mount to discover their hidden gems.
I'm Armenian. I was born in Iran, Tehran. Then when I was 14, I came to India.
8 years we were in Armenian college, and
No,
we went to La Martiniere. It's a French school. It was started by a French general.
So we did our UG, PG. Then now we are doing our MPhil in political science in Madras Christian College.
Tell me something about Matrick. How did you meet?
I met him in our Armenian school in Tehran. He was with the bag, so he was running towards me. Armen. I said yes. Are you going to India? I said yes.
We came to Chennai through rugby. We had the sponsor. He's a very good gentleman, Indian gentleman.
Is that something that you guys played from Iran, or is it something?
No, we learned that here. We learned that through a couple of our former students, Hendrik and Emil. And Mr. Ashram, there was an old gentleman.
We are playing for more than a century, 100 years now in India. First Indian rugby team, if I'm not wrong, was in 1997. And 5 or 6 Armenians played for the first national team. When we were in the field, we played for India and we fell for that. It's not that, yes, we are Armenians and no. When we represented India, we gave everything.
Being into rugby, we interacted a lot with people from the sports background. We were lucky to play for India also. Like I played for under 19 team. Armen played for the seniors as well.
We played 7-a-side Georgia Cup in CCFC ground, and we lost. We lost very badly. And after the game, everyone was crying. Like we were all 16, 17 years old, and we promised that next year we beat everyone, and we did that. That's me. Magic is here. There are 4 trophies. So one was Century Cup, one was the Georgia Cup 7-a-side. I told you, we cried. We came back. The first All India tournament was organized in Bombay. We won that.
It's a pride to play rugby as an Armenian.
I know what is popularly published. I can't say that I've done great research on the Armenians, but I like them as a community, even though I have met probably 1 or 2 of them. That's about it. I think their contribution is very interesting in our city. And in recent years, the way they have restored the church and then kept it open for the public, that speaks volumes about their good intentions.
Armenians overall, they're very religious. Armenia was the first nation to accept Christianity. That was 3-1 AD.
Wherever they go, Armenians go, and they grow to a certain number, probably they start a church, small church. Because those are things that are always keeping the community together. The church, the school where they learn the language, Armenian history.
We celebrate Christmas on 6th, January 6th. So we come here. There are a few other Armenians also. So we come here, we pray, then after that we have lunch together.
I'm an Armenian from Armenia. I was born in city, a small town called Tijavan in Tavush region in Armenia. So it's very beautiful region, looks like Kodaikanal or Uti in India. I never dreamed that I will get married and move to India. We have Indo-Armenian Friendship NGO. When I was in Armenia, I was the coordinator of our NGO there. Through that, I met my husband. So Kapilan,
Standing right
Jesudian.
there.
Yeah. My first year I was doing like a searching job, different like churches where we were going. I was checking tombstones to find something Armenian. Some letter, even just one letter or something that is yours.
Եվիցի կամքը քո, որպես երկինս եւ երկրի, սհաց մեր հանապազով։
Chennai is not a city that is parochial. It is not. In the sense that there may not be much intermingling of communities, but nobody minds various communities coming here and settling down.
Mr. Subramaniam, he was also another influential person to help us get admission in MCC. It was, it was all people that you meet, connections that you make is much more important than anything else. We have been lucky to have really good people around us, and that is, it's a blessing.
Armenians, where did they come from?
From Asia Minor, where their country is Armenia today, they suffered a lot under various occupations. So they had to migrate.
There was a guy from US, Armenian. The first thing what he did, he checked whether there is an Armenian church or Armenian people.
In Madras.
Then through them, he found us.
Yeah.
So like that, we find each other through our institutions.
When I came to Chennai, the first thing was for me to find here some Armenians. From Google, I find some page, there was writing some Armenian students' name who came here from Calcutta to study in Chennai. I found two boys in Chennai, Armen and Medrik. And with this connection with them,
So Siranush.
Siranush. There we have some other Armenian girl who also with the same project how I am here. It's Asst called. She wrote me in Facebook, and like this we meet each other here.
What does this church offer to you?
Whenever I enter, I feel that I'm home. So we don't need to be in Armenia to feel like I'm Armenian.
This churchyard is my little Armenia. This is my area. I'm standing on my land.
I was sitting alone with the watchman. Suddenly one fellow was passing. He happened to look up and he seen Armenian church. He came running. This is my church, this is my church, this is my church. Sir, are you Armenian? Yes, I'm Armenian. That's why I'm saying this church is my church.
Today, if you think Armenian in Madras, you always think of Koja Petrus Voskan, who came here in 1723 and then by 1729 had kind of become a big man in this city and did a lot of good work. So, for instance, the first bridge across the river Adyar, connecting Saidapet to the city, what is known as the Marmalong Bridge. He spent his money for the construction of the bridge. Today, of course, the bridge has become much bigger. The old bridge doesn't exist. It's called Maremalai Adigal Bridge. There's a plaque miraculously survives below the bridge where all the metro railway work is now happening. Then he built the steps to St. Thomas Mount. When he not only built the steps, he left money for the repair of the St. Thomas Mount steps on a periodic basis.
This is an Armenian church?
So it's not an Armenian church. I can say that. So before there was a small church here built, but what the Armenians did, they built a bigger one and they gave it to the Catholics. And if you go inside, you will see, so many things are written in Armenian.
First time in India, you know how foreigners say, if you don't know, I can share. First it's shock that, okay, where I am. But then, when I have to leave India, I didn't want to leave. First time, many things were there that is like I didn't like, but at the same time, something like magic that you want to come back. I think every foreigner will say that it's like that, like some country that you want to come back.
Some of them preferred to stay on rather than go back home. They decided that they wouldn't go back. So if you look at Aga Shomir Sultan, for that matter, considered to be a merchant prince of Madras, they were happier in this environment than going back to their own country. So that is very interesting. Even now inside the Armenian church, you will find one quadrangle, which is called the Shomir Sultan room. And there you will find all of them are buried. And if you look at the stones, you will find on the headstone image of a rose water jar, and then there is a scissor, there is a scale, and then there is a weighing pan. They were into the business of silk, which is the scissor and the scale, and they were into the business of gold, which is that weighing scale, and then they were into the business of rose water. So this was their trade.
In Armenia, people have a lot of scare about India, especially when you are a girl and going to India. Everybody, you are going India, oh my God, how many sections you have done, do not get these sicknesses, do not get this, oh be careful with the mace, so don't go out from after 9 o'clock. I'm in Chennai, we are in Chennai already, I'm almost 1.5 years, and I'm a very active person. I'm going for dancing, I'm going with friends here, there, clubs at the night. But thanks God, I never meet anything like this. It's really very safe. And here, very stone.
The draft for Armenia's constitution was written in Chennai. And then the first magazine was published in Chennai.
The first Armenian journal, he lived here and published the first Armenian newspaper in the world in 1794. His name is Artum Shimavonia. And if you want to see his tombstone, it is just buried here at the side.
And never once, I think, in my history textbooks have I ever read this person's name.
Not only this person.
Or Armenian history itself.
I love the Armenian church. Even now, on certain Saturday afternoons, if I find time hanging a little heavy, I'll go there and just sit. It is so peaceful. It puts your mind in order. In 1712, they were given space near where the High Court is today to build their own church. It was a timber church, wooden church. Now, where the present Armenian church is, that was the private chapel of Aga Shomir Sultan. See, the rich ones had their own chapel. So, Koja Petres had his in Veperi.
In January 2007, the Armenian Catholicos, he came from Armenia. He visited his church and he's seen this church in a very bad condition. He funded some money and the renovation work started in January 2007. In December 2008, it was completed. He came down and he reconstructed the church.
Tower that they have there, those 6 bells that are hanging inside, they are made in the same Whitechapel foundry, Thomas Mears and Sons, where the Philadelphia Liberty Bell, the Westminster Abbey Bell, the St. Paul's Cathedral Bell, all of them cast in the same foundry, and these 6 also. Petrus Uskan, grandson of Koja Pogus, an Armenian whose heart is in Julfa. Aged 70, he departed this life on January 15, 1751.
Yes. And he's buried at St. Matthias.
That was his personal chapel.
Yes. His heart was taken out.
And taken to Julfa. Because he said his heart is always there.
His body is here, but if you go now and see how it is his tombstone, I'm feeling so bad. It's really disturbing me that people couldn't use a little bit far to make some washing place. It's just starting from his tombstone. They are cleaning floor and that dirty, that clothes are hanging near there. And that person who was a part of Chennai, like Madras, who could share his opinion about Madras. Why that person's grave, okay, the tombstone should be in that position. To clean, it's not hard work, just some small place. But I want, after clean, it will stay. I want officially some border will be there. Then it will stay.
A lot of pride in preserving their past, which I think in India we sadly lack. We are not aware and we don't value what is old. Here, if you see an old building, ama sir edo pazhaya kattana edchi thalli pudu building kattana nalla irukum, and or put posters on it, or the most ugly forms of restoration possible in the name of restoration.
Do you know any of the Armenian families who live last here? No.
They left.
They left
70s,
early.
60s, no?
In the 60s they left. Much earlier.
It's a migratory community. Remember, they migrated here. They must have migrated when they felt that they didn't have any business here any longer. They went away. That's about it.
Before I was coming here, I was thinking that we have a lot of big Armenian community here. And after I'm coming, turning the buildings, turning the street, everything, but Armenians is disappear.
We just now only have 12 Armenians here.
You trace any Armenian's history, very few people will say, okay, for past 10 generations I have only been here. Someone has moved from somewhere to somewhere. Tomorrow I start my family, my children are going somewhere.